ראיתי את מנהרות הטרור ההרוסות, האימתניות.
I saw the formidable, destroyed terror tunnels built by Hezbollah and Iran to threaten our communities and invade the Galilee. Tunnels that were blown up with 700 tons of explosives a few days ago, leaving behind only a pale scar on the mountainside. That is all that remains of this threat. I saw the homes in dozens of Lebanese border villages that have been destroyed, demolished, and left in ruins. While we build here, they lie in ruins there because they served as outright Hezbollah outposts from which our communities and citizens were repeatedly attacked and threatened. And once and for all, we have eliminated this threat. The IDF currently controls 700 square kilometers of the security zone in Lebanon, stretching from the coastal area in the west to the Beaufort on the outskirts of Mount Hermon in the east. The area is empty of residents. The IDF is inside, and the terror infrastructure above and below ground, as I mentioned, is being systematically destroyed and demolished. The IDF currently controls 700 square kilometers of the security zone in Lebanon, stretching from the coastal area in the west to the Beaufort on the outskirts of Mount Hermon in the east. The area is empty of residents. The IDF is inside, and the terror infrastructure above and below ground, as I mentioned, is being systematically destroyed and demolished. As I said yesterday during my visit there, we will not withdraw from the security zone in Lebanon until Hezbollah is completely disarmed and the threat of Hezbollah is eliminated throughout Lebanon, a clear statement that we stand firmly behind. The Prime Minister and I are in direct talks with the leadership of the United States, as well as taking practical action in every single place. I instructed how to prepare for a prolonged stay in the area to protect the fighting forces and the communities until this goal is fully achieved. We promise security to the residents of the North, and that is exactly what we have done and will do. And I say, hopefully from the determination, the bravery, from this strength, hopefully that process being spoken of a peace agreement with Lebanon, without Hezbollah, with recognized and secure borders. Hopefully this will also happen, and it will prove that strength brings security, but also brings real peace. I hope that this will also happen here. This is something else. Here is our home. Here is the land of Israel. Here we are staying forever. And I have seen prime ministers and I have seen governments even in the great days. I saw even in the great days. There has never been such strength of settlement. We have first-hand witnesses here. As students, we also accompanied We Are on the Map, the tours, and all those things from back then. In such a short time, there was never a decision to establish 104 settlements. Some are returning, some are new, and all of them are renewed. There has never been such a clear process of recognizing 160 farms. This is a wonderful thing. By the way, these volunteers, these pioneers, the Hilltop Youth, the Zionism of coming and holding on to the territory. We as a government are going to recognize all these farms. By the way, just in terms of quantities, if I'm not mistaken, compared to the 200,000 dunams held by the settlement, with this addition, it is 1.2 million. In other words, this is a stronghold. And what is important is that it is done in coordination. Spontaneous is always the case, but the recognition and institutionalization is in coordination with the government, in coordination with the IDF, also based on security considerations. And I tell you another thing. We have friends, great friends in the U.S. administration. U.S. President Donald Trump, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, whom I spoke with yesterday, and others. Their heart is in the right place. In their heart. In their heart. They know that this land belongs to the Jewish people. In their hearts, they offer backing. Of course, they are a superpower with all kinds of considerations. I canceled the draconian administrative detention orders. Nobody did that before me. I hope no one will have to do this after me. To arrest without any rights, without knowledge, without lawyers. And why were these orders issued? Because the activity here was defined as terrorist activity by the authorities. I revoked this definition. But I warn and I say, terror is anyone who acts against the security of the state. And we enforce orders that act for the security of the state. And there is information, and it does not always mature into a proceeding. But violent riots, I say unequivocally, we are against this, against this. I said this the moment I signed the cancellation of the administrative orders, despite all the pressure exerted on me from then until today by the legal advisor and everyone. I stand as a fortified wall. I am not signing this, but the principle is clear. We are against violence. Those authorities who hold the power should enforce what is needed, and not other elements. It is wrong, and it is also harmful. Very great damage among our friends. On whom were sanctions imposed? On Zombish? Why is this happening? Because of these things? Does this provide the justification? Not that there is a justification. There is no violence. Settler violence. There is no such thing. But on this matter we must be very clear and implement the policy. And I look everyone in the eyes and I say, and this is what we need to do.
We, the Prime Minister and I, instructed to capture the refugee camps, the terror camps in northern Samaria, Jenin, Tolkarm, Nor Shams. You know why? Because due to the uprooting of the settlements, the IDF was not here, and therefore full-fledged Israeli terror battalions were established there, and from there they directed terror over all of Judea and Samaria. Look at the connection between settlement and security. And therefore, we simply instructed to allow the residents to evacuate for their own protection, about 40,000 residents. The IDF captured the places, though to us I say captured, cleaned, cleared, and most importantly, the instruction given from then until today, they are out. The IDF is inside. The IDF remains inside the camps. And what happened? An 80% decrease, thank God, in terror in Judea and Samaria, because they have become pursued, and indeed this is the policy. And any other place where activity of this kind takes place, and we see they are trying to raise their heads, we will deal with it in the same way, an offensive way, a way of initiative, and all security activity here and settlement go together.
Then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.